Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to be starting with stored access signature, shared access signature rather. So before we start, before I open Visual Studio, let's understand what we intend to do. So I'm going to my portal now. So I believe you can see my screen. So we are still working on the same storage account that we were working on previously. You can see I have a container and the name of the container is frankly your data. Then inside that container, I have two blobs, an image file and a text file. So if I try to view what I have here, let's say I click on this. Let's say I click on this and I have a URL, the URL here. I copy it, I go to my browser, I try to view that URI. You can see that public access not permitted. You can see the XML response and it's saying that public access is not permitted on this storage account and blah, 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 blah. So why is that happening? So if we should go to, let me select this, then under change access level, you'll see that it's set to private, no anonymous access. Anonymous access to this container is being blocked because anonymous access is disabled on the storage account, on this storage account. And that is the best practice by default. So anyone shouldn't just be able to get the URL for your blobs and view it. That's why it's set to private. So if I want to work with the URI for this blob, rather than setting it to public, something we can do is what we call shared access signature. And we'll be seeing how we can generate a shared access signature from Visual Studio. So shared access signature is a URL that is time bound. It probably will expire. You will set the amount of time you want it to expire for. Let's just quickly look at how it is done on the console. So if I should click on this before we go to Visual Studio and do it remotely. So if I should go to generate SAS, shared access signature. Yeah, so you are going to see what some of the parameters, the start time, expiry time, the allowed IP address. So you can also specify who you want to be able to use it. Okay, so let's go to Visual Studio. Our time is fast spent. Okay, so I'm on Visual Studio now. The first thing we need to do is to install the packages that we are going to be using. And as usual, we always use Azure Storage.blobs. And in this case, because we are working with shared access signature, we are also working with Azure.storage.sas. Then the connection string, the container name, the blob parts on my own computer, as well as the blob name. So what I want to do is I want to I want to download the blob from the cloud into my computer. However, I also want to have a URI based on the shared access signature that I can use to access the blob directly from the web. So unlike the previous video whereby we couldn't download it through HTTP or HTTPS, it was just remotely from Visual Studio. Right now, we want to have a URI, a secure URI using shared access signatures. So that's why we need to generate that first. So I will also be um, I will also be outputting URI for the shared access signature into the console, the output screen. So we've already worked on this earlier on. Then we create a function known as read blob. Then we declare a URI variable, which is the blob URI. And we are assigning the generation of the shared access signature method to it, because we are going to be returning the output from the shared access, from generating the shared access signature into it. Then over here, I'm just trying to console right line the URI that we can use to access it. Then so we've already worked with block clients, and we've also worked with download to also. And all this we've worked with them, but this generates SAS function is similar to what we've worked on before. So we are calling this class blob service client from the azure.blob.storage, and we are initializing our constructor, and we are passing in the connection string. So the reason why we are still passing in the connection string is that the SAS that we are using here gives us access to the blob, not to the entire storage account. So, as I said previously, we are working with 3 layers. First, we need access to the storage account. Then we need access to the container. Then we now need access to the blob. So after that, we are now using another class again, blob container clients. And we have an object here, container client, and we are now passing the container name this time around based on the value that we've used from having access to the storage account, which is service client. Then we are now going to the blob. We are using this get blob clients, and we are passing in the blob name, but we do not want to access the blob directly this way, because we want to get a URI from the shared access signature. I don't know why I always call it stored access signature. Then we are using this blob SAS builder, which is from a different package, which is from Azure Storage.SAS. Then we are defining the blob container name and its container name, which is from what we've initialized up here, container name. Then we are defining the blob name, which is also from what we have up here, as well as the resource. We are calling it B, which is for blob, because we're interested in the blob. Then we are now setting the permissions and setting the time we want it to expire. So we are using GMT +1. So we are using the current GMT time. Then we are setting it to be 1 hour. So without wasting much time, let me just run this and see if we can view. So this is the part. Let's see the part and be sure that we do not have anything like this in that part. I haven't run this code before. Hopefully there is no error. Yeah, so this is the public folder, users public. You can see we have just ccsp.png over here. So we want to download, and we also want to see the URI that we can use to access what we have downloaded via our browser. So let me run the program. Let me reshare. and I will run the program. So I'm running it now. Hopefully there's no error. Yeah, so let me show you my output screen so that you see the outputs that we have. Let me share this. Yeah, so this is the output screen, and you can see the URI that is for the shared access signature, and you can see the dates over here, the expiry date, the time, and the like. So let me just copy this. Yeah, I've copied this, but now let me go to my public folder to confirm that it was truly downloaded over there. So we can see it's downloaded here, XML start2.txt. So that works. So now I'll stop sharing and I'll go to my browser. Now, let me go to my browser and confirm that the URI would work. Okay. So now let me paste this and let's see. Yeah, and you can see I have access to the file directly from here. So this was not possible earlier on. So let me go and let's see the normal URI that comes with it, and we'll see that we do not have access based on that URI. So I will see the uniqueness of shared access signature. So I'll copy this and you'll see what we are doing here. Yeah, you can see public access not permitted. We can see we have an error here. However, with our shared access signature, we have access to it, to that file directly. So I believe this short video will be informative and we'll put a stop to it here. We are still continuing with our what's the word now? Azure Storage Account series, and in our next video, we'll explore more.